Have you ever stood at the bottom of a massive mountain, looking up at the peak, feeling completely unable to move? This feeling is not just about climbing rocks. It is the exact sensation we feel when facing our biggest life projects. We call this psychological state mountain paralysis, a condition where the sheer size of a task freezes us into total inaction. You want to start, but your brain screams that the task is too big, too hard, and simply too painful today. This creates a cycle of guilt and shame that drains your energy, making it even harder to start the next day. Let me introduce you to Marcus, a young entrepreneur who had a brilliant idea that could completely change his financial future. Marcus had the vision and the talent, but he was stuck in a devastating trap that many of us know well. He spent his days staring at a blank screen, waiting for the perfect moment of inspiration that simply never arrived for him. He calculated that his project would take at least 75 hours of focused work to get off the ground properly. 75 hours felt like an impossible mountain to climb, creating a mental barrier that stopped him before he even began. 1 week turned into 2, and before he knew it, 3 full months had passed without a single significant achievement. The guilt was eating him alive as he watched his friends launch their projects while he remained stuck at the start. Insomnia became his constant companion because his brain refused to rest, knowing that his dreams were slowly slipping away from him. Desperate for a solution, Marcus arranged a meeting with his uncle, a highly successful businessman who had built multiple empires. Marcus poured out his heart, explaining the crushing weight of the 75 hours and his inability to take the first step. His uncle did not judge him. Instead, he smiled, knowing exactly what Marcus was going through because he had been there. He leaned in and told Marcus that the secret to conquering a mountain is not to focus on the summit. He introduced Marcus to a simple, powerful concept that he used every day to defeat procrastination: the 10-minute rule. This rule is deceptively simple, but it hacks the brain's reward system in a way that makes action almost automatic. He told Marcus, "When you are avoiding a massive task, make a solemn commitment to do it for only 10 minutes. Forget about the 75 hours. Forget about finishing the project. Your only goal is to work for 10 short minutes." Marcus asked how 10 minutes could possibly make a dent in a project that required weeks of intense, hard labor. The uncle explained that the rule is not about finishing the work. It is about tricking the brain into starting. When you think about a huge task, your brain's fear center activates, perceiving the work as a threat to your comfort. By shrinking the commitment to just 10 minutes, you lower the psychological barrier so much that your brain cannot object. This addresses the first psychological principle: overcoming initial friction. Starting is always the hardest part of any endeavor in life. Once you overcome that initial resistance, the laws of physics and psychology take over to keep you moving forward effortlessly. This brings us to the second reason why this rule is so effective: the momentum effect, derived from Isaac Newton. An object at rest stays at rest, but an object in motion tends to stay in motion unless acted upon. Studies show that 80% of people who start a task for 10 minutes will continue working long after the timer rings. Once you are in the flow, stopping actually becomes harder than continuing because you have built up valuable mental momentum. This leads to the third principle: the progress principle. Your brain releases dopamine when it senses you are making progress. Even 10 minutes of work signals to your brain that you are winning, creating a positive feedback loop of motivation. The heavy guilt vanishes, replaced by a sense of agency and control, fueling you to do even more work. The uncle then gave Marcus a specific 4-step plan to implement this rule immediately without overthinking or hesitation. Step 1. Set a timer for exactly 10 minutes. It must be a real timer to create a sense of urgency. This external clock acts as a strict boundary, promising your brain that the pain of work will be short-lived. Step 2. Give yourself full permission to stop when the timer goes off. You must genuinely believe you can quit. If you secretly plan to work for hours, your brain will detect the lie, and the resistance will return immediately. Step 3. Choose a micro-task. Do not try to solve the whole problem. Just pick one tiny, specific action. For Marcus, this meant writing the first paragraph of his executive summary, not completing the entire 75-hour business plan. Step 4. Start immediately. Do not wait for inspiration. Do not wait for the right mood. Just start moving now. Marcus went home that day and applied the rule. He set the timer, promising himself he would stop at 0. He started typing. The first minute was uncomfortable, but by minute 3, he was fully immersed in his ideas. When the timer rang, he didn't want to stop. He had found his flow and ended up working for 2 hours. He repeated this process every single day. The mountain that looked impossible began to shrink, stone by stone, day by day. The progress was steady. What was once a source of fear became a source of daily pride and accomplishment. He realized that motivation does not lead to action. Rather, action creates the motivation needed to continue the journey. Small wins accumulated. The momentum built up until the project that had paralyzed him for months was finally complete. In exactly 3 months, the same amount of time he had previously wasted, Marcus launched his business and website. He looked back at the time he spent paralyzed and realized the only thing stopping him was the size of the task. The difference between failure and success was not talent or luck, but the simple ability to start small. This 10-minute rule is not just for business. It applies to exercise, cleaning, studying, or any area of stagnation. Imagine applying this to your messy kitchen. 10 minutes is manageable. You might just finish the whole sink. Imagine applying this to studying. Instead of fearing the exam, commit to 10 minutes of reading one single chapter. Imagine applying this to fitness. Do not think about the marathon. Just put on your shoes and walk for 10 minutes. Consistently investing 10 minutes a day is infinitely better than planning for 0 hours a day while waiting for perfection. Just like a river starts with small drops, your massive success starts with these tiny, manageable 10-minute segments. Marcus now teaches this rule to his entire team, ensuring that no one in his company ever suffers from paralysis. They understand that the only bad work session is the one that never started. Everything else is progress. The mountain that once looked scary is now just a series of small steps waiting to be taken by you. When you look back after a few weeks, you will be amazed at how high you have climbed using this method. You are literally rewiring your brain to associate work with satisfaction rather than fear, pain, and avoidance. So I have a challenge for you today. What is that one task you have been avoiding for weeks? Is it an awkward email? A workout? A chapter of a book? Or a project you are afraid to start? Do not wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow is a lie we tell ourselves to feel better about doing nothing today. Grab your phone right now. Set the timer for 10 minutes. Commit to doing just a tiny piece of work. Feel the resistance, acknowledge it, and then do it anyway. Watch how quickly that resistance fades into momentum. Action is the antidote to despair. Action is the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. I want you to try this right now, not after the next video, not tomorrow morning. Right now, this second. Thank you for watching Unstoppable Mind today. We believe in you, and we know you can conquer your mountains. See you in the next video. Keep moving forward, keep growing, and never stop unlocking the power of your unstoppable mind. This is Unstoppable Mind today, signing off. Take care, stay focused, and go start your 10 minutes right now.